In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about some of our favourite chisels for hand carving. A question that was put to us recently is basically, what are our three favourite carving gouges? Now in this video, I know some people call them chisels, but we always refer to them as a gouge because there's a slight curve on them. So, as you can see, these are all of the gouges that we use here at the Lovespoon Workshop. And in answering that question, and it's quite difficult really, because there's so many different jobs that you do, and they all the different gouges serve a purpose. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put it across to Dad then to have some of his thoughts. Have you got any that you particularly...
Well, it's a difficult question to answer, as you said, because you've got different shape gouges, different size gouges, and we use obviously for each different individual job we're doing. So we do a lot of spoons, obviously, and to finish the spoon, my go-to gouge is probably, that's one of the first ones that I would go to. It's a marples chisel. But
that is very interesting then, because we do spoons that are different shapes and different sizes. So that one there, that's one that I do like as well for carving the bowl of the spoon. And what we're going to do at the end of this video, we got a little piece of wood here, and we're gonna film so you can see the different sweep and the different size of each individual gouge that we're talking about. But for instance, that one there I find is quite a good gouge for carving the bowl out.
Yeah.
They do quite a similar job.
Yeah.
And in some ways, because of the amount of carving that we're doing, sometimes I'll use that one because this one is not quite as sharp in a particular moment. So if that one needs a little bit of sharpening, I use the other one. For me, I don't find that one is better than the other. I find that they're equally good at doing their job. Some that I would suggest then that we do use a lot. There's this one here, and the sweep on that is as close to being straight without it actually being straight. I think because there's a British list, there's a UK list of numbers in terms of the sweep, and I think there's a different list in the USA. I think in Europe they have a different list as well. This one is a number 3. And that number 3 refers to the sweep of the tool.
It's interesting because obviously people going into it
it can be a bit confusing.
Well, if you're going to really go into it in depth and study each sort of angle, which sweep on the chisel, I mean, our main job is to produce as many spoons as efficiently as we can. So I tend not to be sort of...
you tend not to get too involved
with
the
technical side of it.
That is something
if the chisel suits me, then great.
Yeah. But it's just to give people a guide. You know, when you look at a blade, you'll see these numbers on the blade, and it's just to give you an idea. That's what they refer to quite often, is the sweep. So for instance, those two there, the sweep on them, they both got number 3 stamped onto them, but you might be able to pick up on that. They're quite different in terms of their width, but it refers to that sweep. And those gouges, I spend a lot of time working with those. I would say they suit my carving style.
Yeah.
They're beautifully made.
If I can use that one a second.
They're beautifully made, and they do a good job. Our own experiences, we find that there's a massive difference in the quality of steel that you will get for different gouges. So for instance, these ones here that I showed you, these were actually made in London over 100 years ago by a company called Herring Brothers. And our own experience with these, they were beautifully made gouges, and they do a very nice job for us. There are other gouges then that we use. I remember when I sort of first came into it, Dad would refer to certain gouges as almost a bit of a go-to gouge.
That's right.
So if you couldn't, because you have a set sweep, if you couldn't find a gouge in the ones that you had that were the right sweep, you would actually quite often, you would use that one to sort of build up the shape and to make up the sweep for you. So those ones there, those two are useful gouges as well. Demonstrating with a piece of wood then, I'm going to just show you some of the gouges then that I would use myself. These are some of the gouges that I would be using every single day. And some of them I actually use in a pair. So I'm going to demonstrate that here straight away. So for instance, that's the sweep on that one there. Now I quite often use this as a pair, so I will do the stop cut using that one there, and then after I've done the stop cut, I actually find this one, so those two, I actually find them quite good to use as a pair together. So you can see they've got the same sweep, it's just that the one is longer than the other. So that's one style of gouge that I find useful myself. I don't know if you wanted to come in with anything. Another gouge then that I like is that one there. That's another Herring Brothers, and that's a lovely one. I find that's good for doing the bowl. The one that Dad was referring to for doing the bowl is slightly more of a sweep on it, but again, that one I think is an old Marples, and that's a lovely one for carving out your bowl. Just a little technique there, as we're talking to something slightly different. Yeah, if you want to extend the line, it's a good little one to know. You can put half of the gouge into the line you've already cut. Just rock it in so it keeps that line. So yeah, little technique there. Use the line you've already cut and just extend it so you can get that natural sweep on it. Other ones we're using regularly. This is a smaller gouge, and I like that one for carving petals, so that's a useful one if you're carving the petal on a flower. This one here, if we were doing a name, so let's say we're doing a name on a love spoon, that one is useful because you can see just like so. It's good for it. I just find it very useful for that job. And that one there is a Sorby, but a beautiful gouge to work with. This one here is one of the ones that I would refer to as sort of one of the go-to gouges. So I find that one useful. It's because of the size and shape. Again, that's a Herring Brothers. This one here was the one that Dad found in the market. Another Herring Brothers, a smaller one, but that's a really nice one to work with. And I found recently I was doing that carving of a woodpecker, and that was really useful because you got this extra length on the shaft. And that was really useful when you were sort of undercutting to get further into the carving quickly. That one has seen better days.
Yeah, but useful.
It's a really useful gouge, and we've bought probably 4 or 5 gouges to actually replace this one without any success. So unfortunately, as I said, it's seen better days, and we are still using that because we haven't managed to find a replacement. So trying to whittle our list. We're always doing whittling. Trying to whittle our list down to 3 gouges.
Very difficult.
It's very difficult, but hopefully some of those shapes and sizes, hopefully they will be quite useful. What we would like to emphasize again though is whatever you've got in the way of chisels and gouges, use whatever you've got. They'll all have a use.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah, we've shown that one there. Yeah, so whatever gouges you've got, they'll always have a use. We didn't show that one. That one is a very similar one that Dad's just picked up there. That's actually an SJ Addis. Lovely gouge, but it does a similar job to the ones that we showed you before, but another really nice gouge. There you have it. We hope that video will prove useful. Remember, whatever tools that you've got access to, that's the best thing to start off. But those are some of the different gouges that we actually use to do our Lovespoon carving. If you've enjoyed what we've done, don't forget to drop a like. Subscribe if you want to see more videos on wood carving and how we make our Lovespoons. And we'll be back again with more videos. Thank you all again.